The word racist sends everybody's meter to the end. And so accusing someone or a group of being racist very much so generates a reaction immediately.
They were spewing hate. They were IDing specific student groups and saying, you are not with us, you have members that are part of Michigamua, therefore you are racist. And you over there, you're racist, and you're racist, and you're racist. And you ask me questions, you question my intent by occupying the tower. You, in fact, by that line of questioning, are racist.
So this created a constant boiling effect where everybody on campus was pissed about being called racist or being accused of such things. And so all that did was go to further the cause of hate for one organization, Michigamua.
There were analogies being made that we were along the lines of the KKK, that we were along the lines of Nazis. I can tell you this is absolutely ridiculous, incredibly hurtful. It's tough to, quite frankly, articulate even 7, 8 years later how hurtful that was, to make the comparison of an organization whose organizing principle was service to the university, service to a great university. To make the analogy that we were along the lines of the KKK or of Nazi Germany was truly outrageous and very hurtful.
I couldn't figure out where this was coming from, why they were associating us with the KKK, and really, you know, felt personally disturbed by some of those connections.
It's almost like saying if you are a member, if you're a student at the University of Michigan, you're a racist because the university was racist. The university started 200 years ago with nothing but white men in the university, and they were in fact in some ways very racist or had racist practices.
What was interesting was that the primary tactic was intimidation. So you do not want to be held accountable for the break-in, but yet you want to use tactics solely based on intimidation. You decide who comes in and out of the tower. Something was fundamentally wrong.
Michigamua name. What is it?
What is your Michigamua name?
What is it, man?
Tell me.
What's wrong? You can't
turn the camera off?
On camera?
We can turn the camera off.
Well, you can turn the camera off. Tell the camera off. Tell the camera off if you don't want to say it in front of the camera, that's cool. But
you guys can stand in front of the video. I was told I could just watch the video, so you can
go ahead and watch the video then.
There you go.
Hey, but let's pause the way.
You seen him because he was.
What is your Michigamua name?
I'm sorry. He was sitting in the room.
What's your Michigamua name?
What's your name?
I know.
Hey, this reminds me of that movie. What's that? Roots. Say, what's your name, boy?
My biggest conflict with Kevin Jones, Juwan Buford, Diego Bernal, Joe Riley in the heat of this occupation was always that they would approach our community. They would approach our people and tell them not to dialogue. They would tell them, don't ask questions, listen to me. And I told our people, think for yourselves. You may disagree with me. You may disagree with my position in membership in Michigamua. That's perfectly fine. But do so by being an educated person. Do so by having engaged for yourself.
And so, fundamentally, nothing has changed for the positive. Michigan hasn't grown at all about this. What we continue to do every year is dredge up the past and display it in front of our new students so they walk around with this hate in their heart for something they know nothing about, and they've been very successful at that.
But the real tragedy here is that the whole occupation was never about the concerns. It was never about Native American faculty. It was never about Latino students. It was never about African Americans having voice, right? It wasn't about those concerns that morphed into demands. At its core, what this occupation was about was power. And it was about this handful of students who, by occupying the tower, had power that they had never had before. And you can see in their actions day by day how they get farther and farther from the legitimate concerns in the communities of color and for the University of Michigan around student of color issues to them.
The reason they went up there is because dialogue doesn't help anymore. They've reached a point where they have more power, and there's no reason for them to give it up. And
Which is kind of where this group has been.
Absolutely, exactly. We are.
Right, it's a flip-flop.
That's right.
Right.
And it doesn't matter because the point that they want to get to can be achieved politically.
But you see, for them, for these guys that never had any voice, to have the Detroit Free Press, to have CNN on their cell phone, to have the New York Times come to Ann Arbor to talk to them, That for them was a life-changing experience. And what did they do with that pulpit? They didn't talk about how there's not enough African-American faculty. There's still not even to this day. How there's not enough effective Latino student recruitment. What did they do? They talked about the lie that they had created.
And so as we were continuously involved in recreating ourselves, there were people who could help us with that, namely the same folks that took over, but they never wanted to have the dialogue. They wanted to wreck shop and reap havoc, and they were damn successful at doing so.
Something was fundamentally wrong. An investigation has never taken place, but in fact, that is a major question when we look back now here 7 years later.